our quick and easy cards, and we're going to do a rainbow technique using one of the new stamp sets out the 2016-2017 catalogue. So we're going to be using our painter's palette, as well as some of the new in colours such as Flirty Flamingo and Peekaboo Peach. So let's get started. Okay, so here we go. So this is the card we're going to make. It's a bit more of a close-up for you. I'll bring it up to the camera. So what we're going to do today is use this new painter's palette stamp set, which is coming in the new Stampin' Up catalogue on June 1st. And we're going to use this whoosh or stripe of paint, and it comes in different sizes, and you've got the easel, which coordinates with some of the new framelets as well, and you've got some pretty little sentiments which are great as well. So we're going to use that flourish or swoosh, and we're going to use our framelets on top, and then we can put a sentiment in the bottom here. And what I'm going to do to show you how to layer these up, we're going to be using our Stampamajig. So I'm going to take you through how to use that if you haven't used one of those before as well. I'm just going to pop this to the side. Now the four colours rather that we're going to use are Peekaboo Peach, Calypso Coral, Flirty Flamingo and Watermelon Wonder. So they're the colours that you'll need if you want to do them exactly the same. And we're going to turn this, whilst it is part of our quick and easy range of cards tutorials, we're also going to be doing a bit of a rainbow theme. So every week or so for the next month, I'll be showing you some different rainbow colours using some of the new in colours and some of the standard ones that you can put together to make different rainbow effects on your cards. So the first thing we're going to do is use the Stampamajig. Now for those of you who've never used it before, it comes with a piece of acetate here, which is quite thick acetate, and it comes with what looks like a very small T-square. And you have a shiny side to the acetate, and you have more of a matte side that's sort of got a rough side. And what you want to be using for this is the shiny side. And what the Stampamajig does is it helps you when you're laying out your cards to get things exactly where you want. So my friend is nice and straight, and each of my swishes of paint are exactly layered on top of one another. And you can see it a bit more here, which is one of my scrap pieces that I was working on earlier when I was working the colours out. You can see here they're all nicely positioned, and that was using the Stampamajig. And whilst I've got this here, just show you. So this was when I stamped them originally, so this was just ink up the stamp, stamp it down. But if I stamped off first, I got this really nice pale watercoloured effect, which is what we're going to use today. So let's get started. So first of all, you've got a piece of white card to put your flourishes on, and that's 5 by 3¼ inches. And if you look down the bottom of the video, just down here, if you're on a PC, there'll be some blurb about the video, and there's a link to the blog which will have all your cutting instructions on. And if you're using the iPad app, or I haven't used the Android one, you have to click the little arrow. So in this corner down here, so which is on my right, in the bottom there's a little arrow. If you put that to go down, you'll see there's the blurb about the video, and there is the blog link, and it should be hyperlinked for you. So let's get started. So I'm going to choose my top colour, which is Peekaboo Peach. I'm going to open that one up. And the first thing, I've done that wrong. There we go. The first thing we need to do is ink it onto our Stampamajig. So what we do is take our T-square, and we're going to put it really tightly into this corner down here. And then we're going to ink up our stamp as normal. I'm going to take my stamp and I'm going to push it right into that T-square and put it down. And you can see that there's an image of my stamp, and that's exactly where it will be when I stamp it down. So what we're going to do next is take our piece of card we want to stamp onto, and we're going to use the piece of acetate to overlay, and we're going to go somewhere in the middle like that. And I'm going to line up my T-square where I want it, so that's on the acetate. Take the acetate away. I'm going to ink up my stamp, and as I said to you, I want to stamp off, so I'm going to stamp off onto my rough piece. And then I'm going to line it back up with the T-square and press it down again. So that's our flourish number 1. Just give this one a quick clean. I did have my Stampin' Scrub is just here. Tilly can hold that one for me. And then we want our next colour, which is going to be Calypso Coral. I'm just going to put my Peekaboo Peach away for now. We're going to open up our Calypso Coral. We're going to ink it up. I think mine's getting a bit dry, it needs a re-ink. I'm currently in the process. You'll notice some of my pads, like this one, are the old style pads, and I am loving the new one, so rather than re-inking I will invest. Now I need my piece of acetate again. Now you don't need to do it with the new colour because you're not going to lay this onto your thing. So I've lined it up exactly where I want it, so it'll be exactly underneath that one. I'm going to line up my T-square with the acetate, take away the acetate. Don't move, be careful not to move your T-square. And now I'm going to press down with my Calypso Coral. You can see that lines up just underneath. So again, we'll put our Calypso Coral away. We'll give our stamp a quick wipe. And then we're going to ink it up with our Flirty Flamingo. Again, ink up my stamp. Just pick out that corner. We're going to stamp off once. We're going to put our acetate down, line up where we want our flourish to be, line up our T-square, take the acetate away, and stamp down on our project. Okay, so I'm just going to do that one more time, and that's going to be with Watermelon Wonder. So again, ink up your stamp, stamp off, line up your acetate, put in your T-square, take away the acetate, and stamp down. And I actually use my Stampin' a huge amount. I know some people think, I don't really use it, what do you need it for? But I find I use mine ever such a lot. And just because I've got a little bit more of a gap at the bottom than I had on the other one, because I didn't get it quite as central, I'm going to do a last colour at the bottom. So I'm actually going to do my Watermelon Wonder again, and I'm just not going to stamp it off this time. So when I stamp it down, I get a stronger colour. And you could do that with all the different colour variations if you wanted to. So it's just a slightly longer version of the rainbow. And I will post both cards with the two different rainbows on the blog as well, so you can have a look at the blog post. And that's all we need to do on those for now. Now the last thing we need to do is put our sentiment at the bottom. Now on the original card I used Friend, and the Friend, let me just grab the stamp set, came out of the Bloomin' Love, which is currently in the Spring Summer catalogue, and is also carrying over to the new 16-17 Stampin' Up catalogue. So I used that Friend. And for this one, I'm going to use the Sunburst settings, again, Spring Summer, and it's carrying over. I'm going to use Miss You, because I need a few of those cards that I give my husband to put in his work bag when he goes away. So we're going to use our Stampin' Majig again. Just give me 1 second, I'm going to grab a tissue. And I'm just going to wipe this off for now, and when I finish this project I will use a baby wipe to clean it completely. If you use Stays On or something that you can't get off so easily, you can use some fairy liquid, you can just run it under the tap. Magic erasers work great. What else have I used? I've used Tim Holtz alcohol blending solution, that's really great, particularly for the Stays On and the Memento. So again, so I've taken my T-square, lined up my acetate, and I'm going to stamp down my Miss You, like that. I'm going to line it up on here where I want to see Miss You. I'm going to line up my T-square. And the Stampin' Majig, I think, is one of those things that a lot of people skip past in the catalogue and think, oh, I never need that. But I use mine all the time for lining up sentiments, for lining up stamps, when I'm doing layering and masking techniques. And there's a few other things you can do with it as well, so watch out. We'll do a few videos on using your Stampin' Majig fairly soon as well. So there's our Miss You, and then you want your additional pieces to mount it on. So I've got a piece of Flirty Flamingo, and you can use any pink in the meantime, but this is 5 1/4 by 3 1/2, so you need that piece. And then this is just half A4, so that is different to half of 8 1/2 by 11. if you're in America. So I'm going to use my bone folder to fold that in half, and then I'm just going to snail all the way up my 2 pieces onto my card. So pop that one down there. We'll pop one on top. So now we need our hello like we've got here. So what I used was the, grab them here. So we have the Hello You Thinlet dies. And you'll notice mine, I've actually converted to magnetic sheets. So what I've done is I bought this thin piece of magnet that my dies will stick to. And then I put a piece of the thick cardboard that backs your 12 by 12 papers inside. And everything goes on there, and I will do a tutorial on all the sizes and how I set those up at some point. So I've used that, and I've used the hello die, and I'm just going to take my die brush and I'm going to get my hello out, just fresh out my big shot. And this normally works perfectly, but it isn't because I'm doing a video. I absolutely love this die, it's brilliant. You may have seen some of my other tutorials where I use it for doilies, use it for all sorts of things. And you can also use it for some really great stippling techniques, so you can tell what's coming up on the videos soon. I think we'll do a tools series, so ways to use your tools. Okay, and then what I'm going to do to raise it up, so a lot of people may have seen the new shaker card phenomenon that's going on. And Stampin' Up in the new catalogue are doing these foam strips. They come on sheets like this, and I think you get 2 sheets to a packet if I remember correctly. And they're absolutely great. Now what I'm going to do is cut off probably about 1 inch of foam strip. And then that foam strip I'm going to cut into quite small pieces, probably about 1/8 of an inch maybe. And this foam strip is slightly taller, I think, I could be wrong, than the standard foam hexagons, dimensionals. And then what I'm going to do is put it on anywhere where they cross. So where they cross on the hello, on the H, and on the E, and on the L. And again on the L. And lastly, on the O. And if you make them small enough, you won't see them through the crossed areas. Let's get rid of that little bit. Then if we take the backing off, I'm going to stick that on there, so that sticks that one up nicely. I'm just going to poke those bits of foam in so you don't see them. So that's our hello stuck in. And then if you notice on the painter's palette here, there are some smaller flourishes of paint. And I thought they'd be really nice to go on the inside. So we'll do the same effect on the inside as we did on the out. So let's just grab our block. I think it was perfect. And we'll need our, so open our card up, grab your Stampin' again. So I'm going to do this in a reverse order. So we'll start with our Watermelon Wonder. We will ink up our stamp. Remember, take that away, and we're going to do it in this bottom corner. Now I'm going to count stamping on my acetate as my stamp off. So I'm going to press that down. Quick clean. Then we're going to use our Flirty Flamingo, which absolutely lovely, particularly with our new flamingo stamp that's coming out. And if you're local to me, our coffee and cards ladies will be using that next weekend and the weekend after, before the catalogue even comes out. And we forgot to do a stamp off, so I'll do one slightly lighter above. And as I say, you can use the solid colours, you don't have to stamp off. Then we're going to use our Calypso Coral. I'm just giving it a quick clean in between. Edge, stamp off this time. Line it up. And there's just so many different things you can do with your Stamp-A-Majig once you get going with it. And it's just one of those things I always have on my desk. I think once you start using it, you can't live without it. And there we are. So there's a little flourish for the inside. We'll just wipe that off for now. So there we go. So that's today's quick and easy card. So we've got our nice rainbow on the outside. We've got our raised up hello. Any sentiment you prefer in the bottom there. And then just on the inside as a finishing touch. I just think it's really nice to have that in there as well. So thanks for stopping by today. I hope you've enjoyed our video and I'll see you again soon. Bye.